So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to um, the first inaugural research symposium of the C3 Digital Transformation Institute. It's a new institute, just kicked off in March 2020 during the height of the pandemic. And if I can go to the next slide to tell you just a little bit about the C3.ai Digital Transformation Institute. It is dedicated to developing the science and technology underpinnings of what is now becoming really a term that's used all over the world in terms of called digital transformation. It's the idea of using cloud computing, data from a multiplicity of sensors, the Internet of Things and beyond, and with all the latest advances in AI and machine learning to really transform societal systems. You know, this digital transformation is upon us in a lot of different ways. Can we go to the next slide, please, Larry? You know, the way we're going to get at the science and technology underpinnings of digital transformation is by really thinking about specific sectors. The very first one that we started looking at was clearly motivated by what was happening in March 2020 when the COVID epidemic was upon us. And so a lot of the talks that you'll see today will be on terms of what this confluence of AI, machine learning, the data analytics on large quantities of data, and cloud computing can do to really think about making a dent in different aspects of digital transformation. We had a call for proposals, and you know, we've funded 26 projects, and some of them are represented here, and there'll be some other projects beyond this as well. So it's our great pleasure to welcome you here. The agenda for today is the opening keynote by Nigel Goldenfeld, who will be right after the comments that Tom will make. It's a great pleasure to have Tom, the CEO of C3.ai, the main sponsor of this institute, along with Microsoft, to tell us a little bit more about this. We'll have the first keynote after that, and then we'll have updates from 9 of the first set of funded projects. Tomorrow morning, we'll have Martha Palmer talk about what she's been thinking about, I think, for quite some time, but also the subject of a new institute at the University of Colorado Boulder on really bringing the techniques of AI to the future of education, and 9 more talks. So that's the agenda. And Shrikant, should I turn it over to you at this point?
Sure, but before I continue, I'd like to invite Tom Siebel, CEO of C3.ai, which recently successfully became public. And Tom is the chair of our advisory board and CEO of C3.ai, which is the main sponsor of our institute along with Microsoft. Tom, would you like to say a few words before we get on to the technical agenda?
Okay, so this was an idea that we worked on with our colleagues at all the participating universities over a few years. And I think this finally came to culmination about March or April of 2020, as I recall. And the idea is to attract some of the world's leading scientists in a coordinated effort to advance the science of digital transformation as it relates to business, government, and society. I think we've been very fortunate in the organizations that have agreed to participate in this, where we have some of the world's leading research institutions. And now we've been joined by some very significant corporate sponsors at Baker Hughes, Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, and others that I expect that list to continue. I think that the work that was done in the first call for research awards, research projects related to COVID, was extraordinarily well executed by Shrikant and Shankar and their colleagues at the University of Illinois, Urbana, and UC Berkeley, who are administering this program, I think, extraordinarily professionally. And the first call went out on very short notice. It was very well received. And we're now going to learn about many of the 26 projects that were funded and see a progress check on what's been going on there. I think perhaps almost of equal importance have been the colloquia that have been sponsored on really substantive topics related to COVID. And then this is just an amazing contribution to the corpus of knowledge and research related to COVID. And this is I think it's really quite remarkable, and this now will continue through the spring, okay, and the summer of 2021. And so these workshops, these colloquia they're doing here, I think we're making the probability that we will not make a substantial and important contribution to the dialogue as it relates to advancing, science as it relates to COVID is zero. And I think that there is no question that important contributions are being made that will enable our policymakers to really make data-driven and science-based decisions, which I think is not always been the case in the past. So I think this is off to an amazingly successful start. And on behalf of the people at C3.ai and Microsoft and Shell and Baker Hughes, we just want to thank you all for your participation. We're very, very pleased to be part of this. And I think that what this organization accomplishes in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, as it relates to public health, as it relates to energy, as it relates to climate, as it relates to digital transformation writ large, and how we will apply it to social and business systems, it's going to be a material and substantive accomplishment. And I hope that everybody involved is taking great pride in what they're accomplishing. So with that, I'll just thank everyone.
Thank you, Tom.
Very much, Tom. Thank you for the opening remarks, and also thank you for your support of this endeavor. I mean, as Tom mentioned, I think the science of digital transformation is a relatively new topic, and I think we are one of the first institutes to explore it. And without Tom's generosity, it wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much.